Hello everybody, it's me again. As you can see, my face is still not quite right, but we're getting there. And I thought I'd read you this story today. There's loads of pictures in it, which will be quite nice for you to see. It's called Love Gave, and it's by a lady called Quina Aragon. Before God made the heavens and the earth, he lived in perfect joy. He delighted in himself, one forever existing, perfect being, Father, Son, and Spirit, all one. So before time was, there was love. In love, God made everything, even you and me. Now he made us to be his friends. But we have a big problem. Do you know what it is? Our greatest grandparents, Adam and Eve, walked away from God in the Garden of Eden. Oh dear. And since then, we're all born with a seed of sin in our hearts. We lie, we steal, we cheat, and it all breaks his heart. Oh dear, that's really sad, isn't it? But it's really true too. You see, God is perfectly clean, like a brand new shirt. Our sin makes us filthy, like we rolled in the dirt. So the big problem is this. God is so good and sin is so bad. God and sin just can't be friends. Oh dear. What should God do with us? We have sin. And because of our sin, we should get forever death, forever far away from him, forever never God's friend, all because of sin. But God is love. Father, Spirit, Son, and loved so much. Love gave us Jesus. Now Jesus is God's Son, but he was a lot like you and me. He loved to play, to talk and sing. And you know what else he loved? Children. They'd come for tickles and stories and hugs. Sometimes they'd come with messy hair and stinky feet. But do you think Jesus loved them any less? Do you think he'd first make them take a bath? No, of course not. He brought them close every time and showed them what God is like. Strong and gentle, honest and kind. Then one day, like the most amazing friend, Jesus gave us the biggest gift. A gift more exciting than your wildest dreams. A gift sweeter than the biggest ice cream you could ever eat. A gift even better than 100 presents. A gift that cost the price of heaven. Can you guess what gift it was that Jesus gave us? Well, here it is. Jesus died and rose again, to take away all our sins and make us his forever friends. You see, the gift that God gave was the greatest gift of all. He gave us himself, and that is love. So how can we get God's greatest gift? How can we become Jesus' friends? By trying really hard to be perfect? By saving all our pennies to pay for it? By learning a bunch of big words like communicable, attribute? No, none of these things will do. Don't you see? God is love, and love is received by anyone who will just believe. You know, when Jesus lived here on earth, he came down as God's Son. He came down to help us. And he was so kind and gentle, and he loved everybody. He spoke to anybody who wanted to speak to him. He chatted with them. He sat with them. He played with them. He ate with them. It didn't matter who they were. It didn't matter what colour their skin was. It didn't matter what language they spoke. He would eat and drink with them all, because he was everybody's friend if they wanted him to be. Now we have to remember that. And we have to remember that God is our friend. And the best thing in all the world is that we believe in him. And we ask him to be our forever friend. Have a fantastic Easter Sunday. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.
Hi boys and girls, it's Steve here again under all this hair that's sprouting out. I hope to go to the hairdressers as soon as they open again. But wasn't it great to hear Mandy's voice today? Anyway, we're carrying on with the same quiz that we started last time round. Do you remember I showed you those pictures of Bible characters and then asked you questions about what you'd seen to see if you could remember? Well, I'm going to do exactly the same today, but with some different characters. So, if you are ready, have a good look at Noah. You might remember his name. He was the one that built the ark, the big boat in the middle of the dry land, and God got him to get all the animals on it, 2 of each, before he flooded the earth, and he saved the animals. Have a good look. I'm going to ask you about him in a minute. And here is David. He was a shepherd boy. He used to write lots of songs, and he was a good singer and a musician, and he killed the giant Goliath and then became king. And next one, he was the first king of Israel. His name is Saul. Okay, I'm taking him away and asking you some questions. Are we ready? Do you remember on the picture of Noah, excuse me, there were 2 animals on the same picture. Do you remember what kinds of animal they were? Oh, that's a tricky one to start with. Any ideas? Oh, I think you have got it. Let's have a look. There's the card. Right at the back there, you can see on the top of the hill an elephant. And right at the front, there's a white duck. That's maybe an eider duck. Okay, did you get them right? And then, oh, this is hard. Do you remember the colour of the band that was round David's head? What was the colour? Yes, it was blue. Did you get it? And do you remember what was flying close to Saul's head in the picture? Was it a bird? Was it a bat? Was it a bee, a wasp, a fly? What could it be? Do you remember? Let's find out. It was a butterfly. Did you get it? That was very hard. I'm going to show you some more pictures. Are you ready? This is Samson. He was a Bible strong man. And as long as he grew his hair and didn't cut it, he stayed very strong because God was with him. But when he got his hair cut, he lost his strength. That's Samson. Take a good look. And this one is Samuel. He was a little boy that was given to his parents late in life. They couldn't have children, so they asked God, and God made them a promise that they would have a little boy. And so his mum promised that when a little boy was born, she would allow him to grow up in the temple and be an assistant to the priest Eli. And there he is. That's Samuel. And the last one in this series of pictures is Ruth. Do you remember we had the story of Ruth a few weeks ago in our kids' time? And I have got a daughter called Ruth. She's not a little girl anymore. She's grown up with a fairly grown-up family too. Okay, are you ready for the questions? I do hope so, because here they come. Who was the person that was sleeping on a bed in the temple? Who was that? Which one of those last three that we saw was sleeping on a bed in the temple? Who was it? Did you remember? It was Samuel. There he is. Okay. The next question. Do you remember what Ruth was carrying in her hand? What was she carrying in her hand? If you remember the story from a few weeks ago, that'll make it easier anyway. Do you remember? She was carrying some barley or wheat or corn. Anything like that will do as the correct answer. It had been cut and harvested from the field, and she was carrying some home to Naomi. Do you remember? Okay, and this last one, the Bible strong man. Okay, what was his name? In the picture, he was grabbing hold of a lion. He was beating up a lion. Not many people do that. Not many people are brave enough or strong enough. But he was. What was his name? Do you remember? It was. Shall I tell you? It was Samson. I've got just 3 more for today's quiz. Are you ready? We've got Moses, who led the children of Israel out of Egypt. They were slaves, but God used him to get the children of Israel, all the Israelites, out of slavery into a land of their own. And Moses was their leader. Have a good look at the picture. And then the next picture is of Joseph. He had 11 brothers, and his father was Jacob, and he gave him a colourful coat. There he is, wearing it. And last but not least, this is Isaac. He's the chap with the stick. Okay. And he's travelling with, that looks like his new wife, Rebecca, and they're pulling behind them. I think that's a donkey, don't you? Have you had a long enough look? Okay, here come the questions, the last questions today. Do you remember in the picture of Moses, what animal was peeping his head over the rocks in the same picture? What was it? Was it a badger? Was it a tiger? Was it a fox or a wolf? No, it was none of those things. It was, do you see him? You see him just there. It's a white rabbit. Did you get it? Okay, and now we're looking at the picture of Joseph. What animals was Joseph looking after with his colourful stripy coat? What animals was he looking after? Was it the cows, the pigs, the chickens, the goats, or something else? It was something else. It was. Did you get it? It was sheep. Yes, you got it. And the last one. Do you remember what colour was the head covering that Isaac was wearing on his head? Looks a bit like a tea towel. They wear it a lot like that in the Middle East. It keeps them cool in the hot sun. What colour was it? Was it red, yellow, orange, green, stripy, blue, purple, pink? What do you think? Last question, and the answer is it was white. Do you see it up there? It was a white head covering. Well, I wonder how many out of 9 you got. Well done if you got all of them. Well done if you got any, because it's not so easy to remember sometimes. Well, that's all from me this week. This is Steve saying bye till next week, and have a great Easter Sunday.